You are watching another episode of Shane Solomon Meets, brought to you by the Cornwall Channel. I'm your host, Shane Solomon, and today I'm meeting the lovely Linda Taylor from Cornwall Council. So Linda, welcome to our studios here. I hope you're impressed so far.
Shane, I'm incredibly impressed, actually. You've got an amazing setup. I've looked around and see all the work that you do for businesses, emerging and really established businesses. And, Cornwall needs to be proud of organisations like yours and the difference that you're making. So thank you.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. That's very, very kind. And there are so many businesses, and that's what we're very passionate about, is promoting all those wonderful businesses. But of course, we're here today to talk about you, Linda. Now, you're coming up for your second year in office. Well, you're in your second year now.
Yep.
And I guess what a journey and what a title to have, what a responsibility to have, and possibly an honour to carry, leader for Cornwall Council. I've got to go back to the beginning, of course. Where did it all start for you? You didn't start in politics, did you?
No, my professional background was a bank manager with HSBC here in Cornwall. I was born in St Ives, so, as I was making my mind up what I wanted to do, I was really, really proud that St Ives branch was one of the branches that I looked after. What actually got me into politics was a planning application, which I think is what triggers a lot of interest with residents. And I was unhappy, actually, with how residents had been consulted. And somebody said to me, well, Linda, stop moaning about it and get engaged. And that's how I became engaged. But I was elected in 2017, and the Conservative group, we were in opposition. And for anyone who's been in opposition, it's not a good place to be, but it did absolutely help us focus. We became a very strong group, and we won that election in 2021. A big responsibility because expectations are high. We became the first majority administration, which in itself was, quite momentous. And then I became elected as the leader. And until that point, the significance of me being elected as the leader was the fact I became the first female leader, which so I thank my group for that confidence, and I thank the people of Cornwall who gave us that opportunity to absolutely make a difference.
Indeed, and give me a kind of typical day for you as leader of Cornwall Council.
It can be very varied, and it traditionally starts around about 8 o'clock. So I'm doing Teams meetings, or I'm leaving home to go and visit businesses. Lots and lots of meetings. The role is about chairing a lot of meetings. It's about strategy setting. It's about keeping in contact. And then I'm very lucky because I do get invites. Businesses, organisations want to see me. So on average, I'm usually home for about 9:30 of an evening.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Blimey. There's lots of things I want to talk to you about today, and I know time is precious for both of us. But I want to touch on the cost of living crisis at the moment, because it's very topical.
Yeah.
And as a council, and I'm sure the council's doing everything they can. I know that the council takes a lot of stick and a lot of flack, But what are the council doing? What's your personal probably thoughts on the cost of living crisis at the moment for Cornwall?
So actually, the questions are well timed, because we had a cost of living summit that the Cornwall and Arsla Scilly Leadership Board set up this week, and it was in partnership with as many voluntary organisations as possible within Cornwall. Huge contribution from the University of Exeter. So we had representatives there from the volunteer sector, DWP. Everyone who has an impact on what's happening in Cornwall. And what I found from that summit, which was for an all-day summit, was the fact that people are wanting to come up with practical solutions as to how we can help our community. And it was absolutely building on that community spirit we discovered during COVID. So there are some real concerns. And, you know, as a society, we shouldn't have people asking the question, is it heat or is it eat?
I know.
Yeah. So timing is everything. So today, I think every single person is wanting to hear what the new Prime Minister is going to announce. And, you know, expectations are high and there's a lot of speculation, but I absolutely believe that the new Prime Minister is absolutely aware of what's happening and will really address the issues about this high inflation. And Shane, if I may, you know, what we've also got to remember is that we're in this position because of Putin.
Indeed.
Yeah. And I will always be thankful for the Prime Minister Boris Johnson absolutely standing up for the people of Ukraine. And other parts of Europe are in the same situation. So the government is wanting to support, and I like lots of people want to see how far that support is going to make a difference to people, because it does need to be significant.
It really does. And for me, I've always said, you know, and hats off to Boris, you know, whatever your political persuasion, because I always say whoever's in power, it's not an easy job, and you're not going to please everyone.
No.
You really are not.
No.
As long as you please the majority, I think this is what, you know, you need to do. But with all that being said, the cost of living crisis, there is some good news in terms of the shared prosperity fund that's come to Cornwall. So everyone has kind of said the EU money's gone and all the rest of it. The government's released 132 million, I believe you said, isn't it?
One of the things that Boris Johnson said was that Cornwall were not going to be disadvantaged. So outside of London, Cornwall received the second largest amount of funding, and we received £132 million. Now, this is we've simplified how people can apply for shared prosperity funding. And the aims of the SPF funding, as we're calling it, is to make a difference to every single person in Cornwall. So that's investment in skills, in jobs, in place. We are absolutely wanting to encourage anyone who's got an aspiration to improve their business, encourage skills, employ people, our culture and heritage sectors. You know, if you've got plans and ambitions where you absolutely want to make a difference to your community, we've got Cornwall Council have got their Good Growth webpage where you can go in. There's an expression of interest. And I think, as I was explaining earlier, for a lot of organisations, they don't have within their group slick operators to fill in grant applications.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we've done, we've actually put aside some capacity funding so that any organisation could put an expression of interest in, any business, and if they need help, we have got officers from Cornwall Council who will help. They will not fill your application form in, but they will give you help and they will give you guidance. And that expression of interest form is an A4 page. Now, for anybody out there, and I've been told that who were involved in trying to apply for EU funding, it nearly wiped years off people because of the complexity.
Indeed.
We've made this really, really simple.
Well, that's great news, because as a local business ourselves, and certainly from my point of view, applying for EU funding in the past, I just put it off because of that reason. It was it took so long to go into the form process. I just thought, you know what? By the time I worked that out, I could have just raised the finance myself by knocking on a few business doors. Yeah. Okay, so what does a day look like when you're not working? What do you like to do, Linda, to kind of relax and kind of get away from all the hustle and bustle of politics?
I have a very supportive husband. And so when we have a day off, we like to go for a walk. We like to, I like to spend some money.
What lady doesn't? What lady, let's be honest.
And support, you know, our real local businesses.
Indeed.
And we like to go somewhere to get a nice meal. It can be a nice 3-course meal. It can be a lovely pub lunch, but it's just enjoying eating out and going to different places. And wherever we go, you are never far from a stunning view.
Indeed.
And I'm one of these people as well. My husband and I, we'll go somewhere. So the first thing we always have to do is have a cup of coffee.
Yes.
And then, we have another little meander and potter, then have another drink. And I just think we are so lucky here that we can do this. I absolutely enjoy cooking from scratch.
We're going to have to get you in Cornwall Kitchen set. We're going to have to do that.
Absolutely. And we cook from scratch every day, and I really, really enjoy that. And I hope this isn't going to give a wrong impression, but it's really good to get that chopping board out, that great big knife, and chop furiously through onions and carrots. That's a real great stress reliever.
Yes.
And it's spending time with my family. So yeah, that's how I like to relax.
Lovely. Yeah? It's one of those things, like you said, we're just so lucky to have everything we have here in Cornwall, and we're spoilt for choice for places to go and eat out. My goodness me.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, my partner and I, Helen, we were in Porthleven this weekend. A very good friend and client of the Cornwall Channel has a place down there, and he said, look, come and use it, come and stay. And it was absolutely lovely. We had a couple of meals out there, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And that view, people pay a fortune to come and experience it here in Cornwall, but we've got it on our doorstep.
Porthleven's one of the places we will go to as well, because there's good parking just outside of Porthleven. It's a nice little walk in, and it's really lovely.
Now, I've heard on the grapevine that you've got yourself a slow cooker.
I have. My goodness me.
It's all about doing the research, Linda. And can you tell me why you've got a slow cooker? Because I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody, when we started to hear what was happening about what was going to be happening to tariffs, and where I am as well, we don't have gas. So we've got electric, but we have LPG gas.
Okay.
So I started, I think, like a lot of people, looking at what appliances were going to be costing money. And when I suddenly saw that a slow cooker was a really very effective way to be cooking your meals up, I thought, I'm going to buy one of those. So it arrived about 3 or 4 days. Shane, I can't believe you've got a camera in my kitchen.
Not quite, but the next best thing.
So I would absolutely advocate the investment into a slow cooker.
Yes.
Because you can get different sizes, and it's very effective. And for busy lives as well, it doesn't take much to chop up your vegetables, get them in there. Yeah. It doesn't need as much liquid. And it's there. And then when you can come home, you come home to a lovely smell of that. Oh,
it's lovely.
That stew, and you've not used so much electricity, or in my case, LPG gas. And it's another way that you're getting good food, but you're absolutely helping with your own cost of living, and helping the country try and use different ways to cook. So I'm interested in how you found out about my slow cooker.
Well, I've got to say, because we had an introduction from a very good friend of mine and a colleague of yours, and that is Pauline Giles. And it was Pauline Giles who I noticed was shouting about the slow cookers online. And I thought, well, we've used one for years, and Helen makes the most amazing meals in the slow cooker. But of course, they really are really economical.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to quote any statistics on it, but it's quite a lot.
Yeah,
it's quite a lot.
Is, yeah.
And I saw that Pauline was, of course, I knew I was interviewing you today. So I rang Pauline up and said, is there any little tips that you can give me about, Linda? And she said, well, just let her know how she got on with her new slow cooker.
Oh, well, we had our second meal out of it last night.
There you go.
That's how well I'm getting on with it.
Well, Linda, it's been great. I could talk to you for ages, but I know your time is very precious. Yeah. Thank you very much for everything you do, for Cornwall in your role. Is there anything you want to mention whilst we're here that I've not prompted you about? Is there anything message you want to get out, or have we kind of covered everything you want to talk about today?
I would say to residents in Cornwall who, have got concerns, please look on our Cornwall Council webpage. We've got lots of pages of where you can get help, and that's, for mental health, and perhaps more importantly, where there's financial help. So it could be, if you're needing help on your council tax. So please look there. We're going to make sure that we're absolutely promoting the help that is available. And there are so many community groups out in Cornwall. I just want to thank every single person involved, because you are making a difference. We absolutely appreciate it. But for me, taking part in that cost of living summit absolutely highlighted why Cornwall is special and unique. It's because we care about one another. We are one and all. And a big thank you to everyone involved in helping in your community. So a big thank you from me. Thank you.
Yeah, superb. Well, there you go. Well, if you know anyone else doing anything remarkable here in Cornwall, we'd love to hear from you. Anything in your communities, email me, shane@cornwallchannel.co.uk. But on behalf of myself and Linda,
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Kerno, Bisviken.